Hey guys, AttackingTucans here, welcoming you back to Planet Coaster. Today we have a very special episode because, as you might notice, I am running the game in a very smooth, constant FPS, or frames per second. We don't have any frame droppage or lagging with the recording right now. And this is because of a program called Cheat Engine, which I'll get to in a second. Now, this method of recording has actually existed for a while. I just wasn't fully aware of it and its capabilities. But I watched a video by the YouTuber known as Silverette, who is a great Planet Coaster creator, who made a video on how to record smooth footage of this game if your park is getting too large. I'll link to the video tutorial down in the description if you are wanting to use this method yourself. And fortunately, it's actually really easy to do. Whenever you have Planet Coaster open, you're able to force the game to run at a speed of your own choosing. So what I did is I run the game at a quarter speed, or 0.25, and when I play and record the footage, the game moves at a fourth of the speed. And whenever I put it into Premiere or whatever editing program that I'm using, I speed up the footage to 4 times the speed. And whenever you play the footage back, it looks smooth and like it should. So before we get into building today, let's go ahead and ride one of our roller coasters so I can truly show how nice this is going to be. And I am so excited about this because I've been putting so much work into this park, but I was afraid that a lot of the work would potentially be for nothing because I wouldn't be able to make nice, smooth ride videos for all of the coasters in this park that I've been spending so much time on. But now, because of this pretty simple fix that I wish I had researched earlier, I will be able to record a lot of smooth POV videos for all of the rides in this park. So once I go back and repolish and fix up a lot of the coasters in this park, I'm going to be making POV rides for all of them, and they're all going to be smooth and buttery and delicious. It's a very exciting day for the series, and it's also exciting because Planet Coaster also came out on console for the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X and S. Also, before we get into building, I want to give a shout out to a sponsor that I have, which is the wonderful Game Fuel, which let's go ahead and talk about that for a second. Hey, so before we get into this video, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, which is none other than G Fuel. And for the next 4 days, if you use my code TUCANS, you can get 30% off all products on gfuel.com. G Fuel is an awesome caffeinated energy drink that I actually really enjoy. They have a lot of great flavors, but it's also a bit healthier with no sugar, which means you are less likely to crash after drinking it. And it also has some other vitamins and antioxidants that are good for you. As somebody who pretty much needs caffeine in order to have any desires to do anything, it has been helping me get through my day and making me a bit happier and more attentive as I get my jobs done. On their website, you can build these little G Fuel energy boxes where you can choose the flavors that come inside. And they send you a box with a bunch of packets that you just add to your shaker cup or your bottle of water and shake around, and you'll be energized for the day. It's much better for you than energy drinks or soda. And for a lot of us, caffeine is almost like a necessary part of our day. So in my opinion, G Fuel is a great substitute for some other caffeinated beverages that aren't as healthy for you. If you go on their website, you can find tons of really tasty and unique flavors. But I think the one that's most interesting to me right now is the Crash Bandicoot flavor, which tastes like Wumpa fruit. I haven't tried it yet though, but I'm probably going to get it since I'm able to get 30% off with the current coupon code, which normally my coupon code only gives you 10% off, but for the next 4 days only, you can get 30% off, which is a much better deal, so I would definitely encourage it. They have quite a few different products as well that you can find on their store, including the hydration version, which has more electrolytes and vitamins, which helps you if you're like out doing physical activity and stuff like that. If you want to buy some yourself, go to gfuel.com. I will put a link in the description if you're trying to get some for yourself. It is a great drink and I couldn't recommend it enough. Anyways, back to the video. Bam! Okay, so the plan for construction today is we're going to be adding a bunch of decorations to our new roller coaster that we built that is a mini steel roller coaster over in our new kids section, and it's going to be themed as Super Mario. First off, I got to give major shout outs to Kai Rubix and Mango Tango, who uploaded a bunch of Super Mario Bros. Custom scenery pieces and models to the Theme Makers Toolkit on the Steam community page. Thank you guys so much for the work that you put into these scenery pieces that are going to allow me to create the Mario coaster of my dreams. And this coaster is also inspired by the Super Mario Land that they just built in Universal Studios Japan, and they actually just started breaking ground for the Mario World in Universal Studios Hollywood as well, which I am super excited for. I'm probably going to go there a ton whenever that opens, for obvious reasons. The first thing I'm building is a near replica of the castles that you find at the end of the levels in the original Super Mario Bros. Game back on the NES. This castle is very basic and cube-like, but it is very reminiscent and nostalgic, and I think has a really good place for the chain lift of this coaster. And on top of that, it's kind of easy for me to build, unlike the Zelda castle that I built, because it only consists of a few basic cube-like structures, some crendillations, and some windows/doors. It's also very reminiscent for me because one of the very first video games I ever owned was Super Mario All-Stars for the Super Nintendo, which came with Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, and the Lost Levels. And I think it just goes without saying that this game is pretty legendary and iconic and has kind of changed video game culture in general. For those of you who haven't watched a lot of content on my channel apart from Planet Coaster, I'm really into Nintendo games, if you couldn't tell from the Zelda castle I made or the Pokemon Stadium that we built, and I think it just kind of pulls everything together, having a Mario themed area as well, so we can kind of have the Nintendo trifecta. Now, I personally don't know if I've ever actually beat the original Super Mario Bros. Because that game is pretty hard. It's something I should definitely do at some point though, because the game is pretty legendary. The scenery items that we have to work with are very reminiscent of things that you would find in Super Mario 3D Land and Super Mario 3D World, with more polished and cartoony yet cube-like decoration pieces. This is the same theming that they're using for the Universal Park, and I think it really works well for these types of areas. And I'm really happy that I'm building this ride right now because it is currently Mario's 35th anniversary, and Nintendo celebrated this anniversary by re-releasing Super Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy for the Switch, which over the past couple months I have replayed through all of these games, Mario Sunshine being one of my favorites. I really enjoy playing Mario Sunshine again because they upscaled the resolution of the game and put it in widescreen, which made it a much more delightful and beautiful experience. And I'm also kind of happy yet salty at the same time regarding Mario Sunshine, because when I played through it, all of the camera controls were inverted from what the GameCube controls were of Mario Sunshine, and it was very off-putting and I was very confused and made a lot of mistakes when I was playing through it. And then after I beat the game, Nintendo released a patch that allows you to change the controls back to the inverted camera controls that the GameCube had, and they also added GameCube controller support for the game as well. And I was like, come on, really? After I already beat the game? But it's okay. I'm gonna continue replaying the game in the future as well, so I guess better late than never. So for this first linear valley segment that we're going through, it is mainly themed after Super Mario 3D World, which that's another game that's about to be re-released for the Nintendo Switch in like 3 months, I believe, I think in February. And they're adding the Bowser's Fury segment to it, which is like an extra little section to try to get people to repurchase a game that they've already played before. And I really don't blame Nintendo for double dipping into all of these Mario titles that were originally on the Wii U, because for sure a lot of people who didn't own the Wii U own Switches now, and they're going to be buying it and playing those games. And speaking of re-releases for games, I think we definitely need to talk about the Planet Coaster Console Edition that was just released for the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One X, and the Xbox Series X and Series S, which, side note, I cannot believe Xbox named their new console the Series X and Series S. I have no idea what they were thinking, but that is like way too similar to the Xbox One X. It's not like super similar, but it's like in the same vein. I have no idea how they didn't learn from Nintendo's mistake whenever Nintendo named their sequel to the Wii U, because lots of people were confused, especially the casual audience. And I'm not much of an Xbox or PlayStation gamer, but even I was confused for a very long time as to what the actual name was for the new Xbox console. Like, it took a while to resonate with me. Like, I'm pretty sure I had to look up the name of the new Xbox console like 5 times before it truly clicked in my brain what it was called. Am I the only one on this, or am I alone? Please tell me I'm not alone. So unfortunately, I don't own any of the consoles that Planet Coaster Console Edition came out on, because I'm more of a Nintendo gamer, and any games that I don't play on Nintendo consoles, I just play on PC. Cough cough, Planet Coaster, cough cough. So I can't give you my own personal opinions on the game from what I've played, but I have watched several videos of Planet Coaster Console Edition and read into the game quite a bit, and from what I can tell, it definitely seems like a good port of the game. From what I can tell, you're able to do pretty much everything that you would do on the PC version of the game on the console edition. The game gives you a lot of good blueprints that you can work with, that you can move around easily and place around your coasters and rides to easily decorate, but you're also able to go in and individually move your pieces around and nudge them and control their locations very specifically and build very detailed buildings and structures just like you do on the PC version, which I think is really cool to see it translated like that. I was pretty skeptical about how playing Planet Coaster on a controller would work, but from the gameplay footage I've seen, it seems like it is pretty intuitive and it might actually be easier in some ways for people than the PC version, because I know lots of people have actually had difficulties trying to play Planet Coaster on the PC because this game isn't the easiest game to learn how to play. There's a lot of options and controls to try to master. This is practically like a 3D modeling program. And it's also pretty great to see that they optimized the game well enough for you to be able to play Planet Coaster on the last generation of consoles now with the PS4 and Xbox One X. Because Planet Coaster is a pretty CPU intensive game in a lot of ways, especially once your park gets to be full of a lot of objects. And I'm happy that they were able to go back through and change the game code a bit to make it run even more smoothly on consoles, which gives me a lot of hope for a potential Planet Coaster 2, because they've been working with this game in the engine for a long time. Whenever they make a Planet Coaster 2, I'm sure the game will be way more optimized and it'll be able to run phenomenally on new computers, especially with a new run of graphics cards for the GeForce, the Series 3000. I'm sure that combined with new optimization techniques, Planet Coaster 2, if they eventually make that, which I really hope they do, will run phenomenally and be a 10 times better of a game than what Planet Coaster even is. And it's also really exciting to see Planet Coaster being one of the launch titles for the next generation of consoles. There's not a whole lot of games for people to buy on the PS5 and Xbox Series X right now, so hopefully Planet Coaster being one of those options will help rise the game in popularity by a ton. And on top of that, there hasn't really been a great console theme park simulation game in a while, so hopefully we'll just see an abundance of new creations and players within this community. And also, I'm hoping they put Planet Zoo on consoles in the near future as well, because I don't think there's a great Zoo sandbox game that you can play on consoles at this current moment. And I can't imagine it would be that much more difficult to port Planet Zoo over after they've already done it for Planet Coaster, especially since Planet Zoo was made afterwards. They probably had a better game engine for that as well, because I definitely see like a difference between Planet Zoo and Planet Coaster whenever I play them on my computer. Planet Zoo just feels a little bit more smooth. And speaking of Planet Zoo, I know I've talked several times about doing a Planet Zoo series on my channel, and I do eventually want to do that, but I ultimately decided that I'm not going to start doing something like that until I finish this Ultimate Theme Park, because I know that if I started an Ultimate Zoo alongside this Ultimate Theme Park, then the theme park would probably never get done. And I feel like at this moment in time, I'm just better off adding on to this theme park more and more and just seeing it expand rather than trying to space myself out too much. Besides, I'm just better at this game and have way more to talk about when it comes to theme parks, so it just kind of works out better for me right now. But hopefully I'll be able to make YouTube videos for the rest of my life, so it's something that I eventually want to do. I think it's just smarter to have a smaller scope of focus on what I'm doing at times. But let's go back to talking about what we're building. So I'm working on building the station for this coaster, which, if you haven't noticed, I'm making the queue or line for this ride themed like it's an underground level from Mario Bros. I'm using lots of dark bricks and pipes, and we're gonna have some enemies. Something that you might have noticed is the back wall where you load onto the carts. I made the block layout match the beginning of the blocks in World 1-2, the first underground level from Super Mario Bros. I thought that would be a cool little reference to have whenever you're boarding onto the train. And I'm trying to get all of this as contained as possible, and then on top of it, I'm going to make it look very similar to the big mountain that they have in the Super Mario World at Universal Studios, where it's like a big Super Mario 3D Land themed mountain. Next thing I want to talk about is, one, how sad I am that almost all of the theme parks are still closed in the US right now. Coronavirus has been picking up for the winter months, and California officially went down on another lockdown yesterday. We have a curfew from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. for the next month, which is kind of sad, but probably necessary, which means that theme parks aren't going to be open for another long time. I've actually had a couple friends who worked at Disneyland in Anaheim that were let go because Disneyland let go of 28,000 employees, which is very sad. I hope all those people are doing well and have been able to find new job opportunities. I'm not really sure what they can find right now, especially with everything having to close before 10 p.m. now. It's just making things harder and harder. But I was very fortunate that I actually got to go to a theme park last week in Missouri because I went to visit my family in Missouri, and coronavirus isn't as bad there, and they also don't take it as seriously because it's a very conservative state, and so there's just kind of a correlation there. But I got to have a chance to go on a new coaster at my home park, Silver Dollar City, called the Time Traveler. It's a pretty crazy steel spinning coaster, which after riding, I would probably put in my top 5 coasters of all time. It was really that fun. And each time you ride it, it feels kind of like a new experience. Because of the spinning carts, you feel different G-force every single time that you ride it. My favorite part was the very first drop, which is right out of the station. You go into a 90-degree drop, and if you're in the very last cart, you feel like you're flying. It just hauls you over that thing. They spent $26 million on the coaster, and it actually breaks a record by having 3 inversions, which is the most on any spinning coaster. And another interesting part about it is that there is no chain lift. It has 2 launch sections that keep on propelling you throughout the track the whole entire time. So it's just very fast paced and fun the whole way through. And there's very limited capacity at Silver Dollar City right now, and lots of people aren't going because you have to wear masks your whole entire time there. And because of this, there wasn't really any line, even though it's a pretty new coaster. So I ended up getting to ride it 5 times, practically back to back, and it was just a total blast. And the coaster also had a hilarious motto that they played over the speakers towards the end of the ride whenever you're about to get off, and they also had some like merchandise and whatnot. But their motto was "Dream big and do good," which I can get behind that motto. I like dreaming big and trying to do good, so it's a motto to live by, I guess. Another ride that I got to re-ride again after having a very traumatizing experience that I've talked about a couple times in the series is the coaster Outlaw Run, which is the coaster that I had the Charlie horse on. I got to give that coaster another chance, and I didn't have a leg cramp this time, which was very, very nice. Granted, I also made sure to stretch for a few minutes before going on the coaster so that wouldn't happen. The problem is the carts for the RMC coasters like Outlaw Run, they have a shin guard which holds and lock your legs in place, which make it really easier for your legs to cramp up if you're tall. So I got to stretch out this time and I had a much better experience. I also got to ride it during nighttime, which was insane because there's no lights, so you're just like getting whipped around everywhere. I ended up riding it 3 times while I was there, and each time was much better, and it got more and more fun each time that I rode it. So if you're a tall person, if you're gonna ride any RMC coaster, I definitely recommend to stretch before getting on it so you don't get leg cramps. Overall, going to the park was a fun experience, but unfortunately, it'll probably be the last time I go to a theme park in a while because who knows when the theme parks will open back up. Hopefully soon, praying that this vaccine is effective and allows society to get back to normal in the near future, because I'm not sure how much longer I can take this, guys, and I'm sure you're in the same boat as me. Since we're building a Mario themed area, I think we should pop off with a comment question of the day. I'm gonna ask, what is your favorite 3D Mario game and your favorite 2D Mario game? I'm gonna put it into 2 separate categories because I don't know if anybody would pick a 2D Mario game as their favorite if they didn't have to specify the 2D, because the 3D Mario games are just a lot better, at least in my personal opinion, because I like 3D platformers a lot. And I'm also gonna do a second comment question. If you happen to purchase Planet Coaster Console Edition, what is your opinions on it and how are you enjoying it so far? I'd like to hear your guys' feedback of the game as well, because, you know, I want to continue formulating my opinion on this game even though I'm not able to play it myself. A part of me wants to get the new Xbox or the new PlayStation, but at the same time I feel like I can't really justify it, like spending the money on it. And then also, like, I already have so many games on my Switch and on my Steam library that I haven't played, so I feel like I can't even justify buying a new console because of that either. There's just too many games to play, and I don't need to have even more games to play. It just seems kind of unnecessary. I've never really been an Xbox or PlayStation gamer. I've never bought an Xbox or PlayStation, even within a few years of the console being released, and I've never really even owned either of those types of consoles in the first place. I had a 360 for a while, and I only played a couple games on it, which were Far Cry 3 and Resident Evil 5 and Halo ODST. And then I also had a PlayStation 3 for a bit, but I only played it for like 3 hours. I played Last of Us and I got scared about a few hours into the game and didn't touch it again. So yeah, very limited experience on PlayStations and Xboxes, but maybe at some point in my life I'll get on the hype train for those, but we'll see. I'm kind of a Nintendo gamer. It's what I grew up on, so just who I am. But I love a lot of these custom 3D models. These cloud models that move back and forth look fantastic. The spinning wheel of coins looks super great. Love seeing that from the Super Mario Bros. Wii and Wii U games. You have the pipes, the trees, the colorful boxes that we're able to change the colors of. Combining all of these together really brings this whole entire world to life. And I think I'm just gonna make this whole entire kids section of the park over here kind of themed after Mario. I have a couple other ideas for some of these other rides, and I think it just makes sense because there's not that much more space after what I've built with this roller coaster, so I might as well just like flesh it all together instead of having like a bunch of different themes. What do you guys think of this Mario Mountain though? I think we have a pretty good start for this. Obviously I'm gonna work on it a bit more in future episodes, but I think we got a really fantastic start this episode, and I'm very excited about the future of this. Honestly, building this fills up a large last section of this park. We are getting pretty dang full. We're still gonna have a lot more episodes because we have some of our underground sections, we have a lot more polishing to do, but I think this was a pretty phenomenal episode, especially because of the fact that I found that cheat engine thing that allows us to record this game with a more consistent frame rate. Major shoutouts again to Kai Rubix, who made a majority of these 3D models. I'm gonna put a link in the description of a video that he made where he created his own Mario Kart ride that has fantastic scenery, and I would definitely recommend to check it out and give it a like and give him support as well, because this ride wouldn't have happened without his work. Now that Planet Coaster Console Edition came out, I'm going to try to be a bit more consistent with some Planet Coaster uploads for the next couple of months because it's a bit more relevant again. So that is something to be looking forward to if you're into these Planet Coaster videos. I'm going to go ahead and ask that if you enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up to help me out. And I hope you guys enjoyed the background music for this episode, which was Mario and Chill, composed by the very talented Game Chops. They also have Pokemon and Chill, and Zelda and Chill 1 and Zelda and Chill 2 just came out. So go and check out those soundtracks as well if you haven't heard them before, because they are very, very soothing and are great background music in general. Anyways, love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Quick little fly through to show what we built, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.